Even that's what we do. And we take care of them. We work with pastors. We work with all communities of human beings. So we have no issues.
Okay. My second question is true that, in your opinion, do you think if we were to take back ECD centers to maybe churches or mosques where sensitive of space is already, and they be funded from that point as we continue to construct other ECD centers? What would be for all the three programs? And then the issue of how we call it decentralized from the many primary schools, even village churches and mosques. What would be your thought about that?
Yeah. Feeding is very crucial to the young. You know, I remember when I was a young kid, I used to go to school because food was available here. So the school becomes attractive. For those small kids, they form directly in the formative stage that their mind is very, very crucial in development. The way the child is brought up through ECD will determine how this child will be in future. So that environment must be comfortable. If food is required, they need adequate infrastructure, they need to get a motivated team, the teachers, they need to get an environment that can allow them to exploit their development stage already. Thank you, Chairman. The first question many people asked me, and wondering how you using sectors of national school to get to the county. And of course, I did mention in my introduction that I've gone through all levels of Teacher Service Commission, all those groups, I've done them. There was no way I was going to get any promotion under Teacher Service Commission. My movement to the county government, one allows me to be promoted. Two, life is about getting new experiences, new challenges. You can imagine the time I've been recruiting for 20 years, and then I continue the more 5 years again. I thought I should get out and also experience what is being done outside there. Three, Kakamega is my home county, and I strongly believe I have a role to play in terms of its development. And that's why I offered myself to work as a CC education. These funds, you see that you have AI holder, those funds are not my money. It is money for the public and it must be spent well. Whether there's little money or big money. If I work at the county government and I'm not the AI holder, that's what is important is the service to humanity. Even those schools, if you check whatever was doing there, was to get a difference in the children, to get a difference in society. And that's what I value most. Thank you. Okay, another question. Well, there's something I'm not saying, yeah. Oh. There's several challenges. One, the issue of staffing of ECD. Of course, you know that this is the government in its campaign manifesto. He put it very clear that he's going to employ the ECD teacher at the permanent principle. He also talked of increasing the ECD teachers to reduce the teacher-pupil pressure. He talked of equipping the polytechnics, putting up more infrastructure, looking for partners to assist in the creation of facilities in these polytechnics, making the courses at the polytechnics to be responsive to the needs of the community. The word bursary, that's very crucial to introduce this manifesto, and how it's going to provide funds to be distributed on equal basis at one level. The scholarship program, I know it used to be there, I don't see there. And when it started, the children were being taken out for studies in China. And I don't know if the future never came back and assisting. Because we don't know China is because of technology. If you want to learn the best technology, you do it from China. I know there are many ways wondering that amount will be spent on kids locally here instead of them being going out for training in China. But then I'm forced to look at the airlift trainings that took the lawyers, the one boy organizing, the two people like Obama took the US, the ones that are listening to UK. If you look at it, you will still see the impact of these things here in the villages. That airlift, it has also some positives, which can't be ignored. But it cannot make of setting up priorities. Because, as I said, leadership is about consultation. If the Kakamega team was going to work with MCAs and the rest as leaders, if they believe that the funds will have more meaning if airlifts continue, then that shall be. If they believe that if you have more of these people sponsored over here, then that shall be. But I will say it, both of them have done advantages, they have won their own disadvantages. But the more when they have the universities of social training, sometimes back of Kenyan universities endorsed on quality. Such that you get someone who's trained, maybe even as a medic, but leaves the university before he's leaving to be out. Someone who's trained as a teacher, but you leave the university without getting the correct knowledge of the teacher. But I'm happy the quality of the university education in the last few years is on its upward trend.
Yes. Another question? That's okay now. Okay, you'll get another set of questions. Honorable Lima Command.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Karibu, and I also want to declare that I know him, and I one day crossed with him, but we ironed out. And at the end of the day, I find out that he was the boss who employed many people with disabilities. My crossing with him was about employment for people with disabilities. But I can confirm that he left St. Peter's having the highest number of employees with disabilities. Thank you, my question is that you have talked about, when you are responding on the Mandaka's question, you talked about priorities, that it's all about having in place some priorities. What are your main priorities in the education, science and technology to ensure that the government gives its mandate of service delivered to the people of Kakamega? And two, what do you understand by the word leadership and integrity in relation to chapter 6 of the Constitution of Kenya, and what is expected of you as far as that chapter is concerned? And finally, you have have talked about the national government schools and county schools, so you understand about the naming of schools and the levels of schools. What do you understand when you talk about the national government and the county government and the two arms of governments? The national government has two arms, the county government have two arms. What are these two arms of the county government, and what are the what are the names of these two arms of government? And also tell us, elaborate about each other. Now, being if you are going to be given this opportunity to serve, how do you understand these arms of government and the work of each arm of government, and how you are going to relate with each arm of government, or the relationship between the two arms of government? Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe I'll start with the last question. Even one and every correction, we never differ with the giver. We were just working. And the issue was with some discipline worker who was with disability. I think he started from the school. And we didn't come on unions. But we agreed and to solve our issues. And also expect to meet everywhere. We shall disagree and what? Come up with a solution and move forward. The issue of the arms, the national government house has three. We have the executive, we have the judiciary, and we have the parliament, or the legislature. The county government has two. It has the legislature, we have the county assembly, and it has the executive, which is chaired by the governor. The county assembly with many roles, including what we're doing right now, debating and seeing about labor. That's one of the roles they do. They do the legislation. They come up with laws. If we are to do anything in education, it must be made legal. And therefore it has to go through it. It has to go through the county assembly. I remember when the issue of scholarship came up, it didn't take it through the county assembly. It became a law for Kakamega County. The same thing with bursaries. It has to go to them. It has to go to the county assembly. The county assembly, they'll do, forgetting the term right now, oversight. They oversight all departments. They do the oversight. That's a role they also play. Of course, the executive part is more or less to do with the policy formulation, policy implementation, they also supervise the implementation of the policies. They monitor it. Like, let's take, for example, the scholarship program. The executive must also monitor it, how effective it is, and give feedback. The executive are held accountable because they are invited to the county assembly to respond to issues related to the area of operation. So if something is going on, the county assembly has the right of summoning the CEC to come and share with the legislature. That's very many questions. Priorities. Priority number one. You don't have to do priorities from the government. I must, because that's the issue. I cannot have any different priorities from what the county assembly really wants. And you see, as a county, priority number one is the employment of the ECD teachers. The putting of these teachers on permanent and pension board is a priority. Putting up infrastructure for the ECD learners, the issue of feeding the ECD, those are priorities. In the polytechnics, adding more infrastructure, adding more equipment. Remember the creation of centers of excellence for technical continuity. One of them should be able to grow into a national polytechnic like Sigaraga. Those are the priorities. The bursaries, because Kakamega is a county, there are also equal share of poor, or kids from poor families. The kids are not poor, but they come from poor families. And therefore they shouldn't be disadvantaged in terms of accessibility to education because of the background. That is one of the priorities that must be looked at. So, these are the main priorities. I guess we should be sure. Lakini kiniambia kwa sophistication, nataka kwa nguvu katika uchunguzi wao.
Ask about council government, their priorities, and leadership and executive, and what is required out of it.
I think they are motivated because I've been managing for very many years. One thing that especially of leadership is fair play at any moment. No favoritism. We must do fair play. Like Kakamega County being a cosmopolitan county, I must treat each community with respect and love. I must be accountable. That's part of integrity. I must be accountable for the resources and opportunities provided. I must be accountable for whichever activity, whichever action I do. But I think it's crucial in terms of leadership and integrity.
Thank you. Honorable, you have a question for the nominee?
Certainly, Speaker Sir. First of all, let me declare that I know the nominee very well. We have worked for almost 15 years together in the top echelon of the leadership of the teachers in this country. And I've also served on the Apex County Education Board for the last almost 10 years with him. He will be representing all the heads of Kakamega County, and I representing all the teachers of Kakamega County in the Kenya National Union of Teachers of the County Education Board. And I think we want to count ourselves fortunate because when the county was during its inception, me and you on the County Education Board had issues, serious issues, with the first nominee for the CECM education. That is our sister Anita, when she took over, and it was a bad player. We had issues, and we even complained of the governor. That occasion, the governor to appoint the county task force report. I mean, the county task force chaired by Professor Hill. Yeah, I'll come out with my question right away. I'll come out.
Have to be yesterday precise and concise.
Yeah, definitely. Then came AB, and we saw the challenges that were there. She tried her best. We cannot press us on the term of this again, the organization, the Heads Association. Now, we have this one challenge, the establishment of the Quality Assurance and Standards Unit in our ECBs. Mr. Speaker, sir, you will allow this more time because I'm a professional. This is my area. When you saw me yesterday asking questions in those other things, I was in uncharted waters. Now I'm where I should be. The quality assurance that standards officers we have, I don't know if you have any, but I have realized there are issues, especially in ECT, on checking the quality and standards, delivery of quality, with the assurance of standards. And two, I saw a big challenge in recruitment, which I also during this time, that during recruitment, you recruit teachers to ECD centers, professionals of course, diplomas, and they get to replace elderly teachers whom these students are used to. So now what happens in effect is that when the new teacher gets over, these students are not used to that new teacher. When the elderly teacher moves to another center, the young children and the parents also move these students now from the centers to other feeder centers. And you see it, that during that time there was mushrooming of very many feeder centers along the way. Two, you have time to look at the county task force report recommendations by Professor Ine, which are the key areas of focus in that task force report. Finally, I woke up to very interesting information this morning that you are likely to be the CEC education, and your chief officer, your student, is likely to be the chief officer. The nominee chief officer education is your student. Me and you know very well that there have been challenges that which there's a example of the chief officer and the CECs working at cross purposes all the time. I don't know how you will have to harmonize and work with your student as the chief officer. And then finally, there is a very key area of focus. The Kakamega County has endeavored to ensure that there are polytechnics in all sub-counties. These polytechnics have challenges in terms of enrollment. In fact, out in the public domain, there is a strong feeling that what has been done to national polytechnics, national polytechnics and technical institutes should also be transferred to these county polytechnics in terms of cash transfers and what is happening at the higher education board to ensure that we attract very many students. Because now the challenges are very clear. So we are asking ourselves, what plans do you have to ensure that these polytechnics, apart from being equipped with enough learning materials, qualified training instructors, they also attract as many students as possible? Then finally, which mechanisms do you put in place to ensure that those youths out there are mobilized to register for available courses? As I leave, I also saw on social media this morning that Bishop Crowley, I don't know what charge he has on Joseph School, where you're coming from, but it is like he has issued a stand statement that he is not ready to see that school start in terms of administration. That is you being changed. I don't know how you are prepared psychologically the people you are leaving behind in St. Joseph's. Otherwise, those are my questions. I stand guided. You are
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. From my name and proceed to other questions.
Thank you, Chairman. Of course, the bishop is well prepared. The day I wrote my application letter, I shared with the bishop. The day I went for the interview, I shared with the bishop. I even asked him to pray for me. The day the list of nominees was released, I shared with the bishop. And I briefed about the whole process. So St. Joseph's school, where the bishop is the chairman board of management, is well said. Continue. And there are many areas of this. If I forget any, you remind me. The issue of polytechnics, why the enrollment has been low, is because some of them have been unattractive in terms of facilities, buildings, and equipment. Some of them have also done training of courses that may not be very, very marketable. And that has made very few people think about it. Then, of course, we also had the issue of the cost of education. And I'm happy to tell you that home came up with that the bursary. You know, they're giving 50,000. Chairman, I think they're giving about 50,000 per child. And that will increase enrollment. We know it started. Remember again, there's not too much lobbying to be done for this guy to go to the polytechnic. So I strongly believe I move it advocate. I will journey to turn around the quality of education provided with polytechnics. We want to have quality. If these kids here can be open for them industrial attachment, be or without the county. If we go to negotiate and request the county government also to prioritize the products from these areas here in terms of employment opportunities, that will be very, very good. If we're also going to look for more funds, payment for most of them, those kids you see out in the village, don't like to know that they have no money. Sometimes they lack food. No food, no money. They also lack information. They lack information. And then you see in Kenya, we did one wrong thing. We really emphasize on university education. And we forgot that as a country, if you're to grow, the life skills are very, very important. They're more important than the university. Apart from training the people to the youth, they also have other areas. We can even train adults. As a teacher, I've always believed that if I went to a polytechnic and learned some basic knowledge on business, I can be a teacher and a very good business person. That polytechnic can also run courses for the farmers. Farmers will be that area, they can do short courses there. And I'm sure that if the polytechnics can be made to respond to the needs of the communities, obviously, they will be a good venture for very many persons. And of course, we've run an organization who have to be satisfied that only 60 past one was good university. I know we worked in the Kakamega County and we discovered that a very simple plumber. Getting a plumber even in town, we are already addicted. Then we don't have money. And yet, these jobs are available every day. The issue of castle or the quality assurance service person for the ECM, that's a very important thing. Remember, we're moving to the CBC, the competence test, and therefore we must be very, very sure the type of quality education people are seeing. The age of the first report, even the youth is a very profile. still take up the ECD teaching as well and do a very good job. So to assist the issue of setting up the quality and assurance team, have them well trained to know what they're doing. I strongly believe that as a county, we must also think of many in-service courses for the tutors. So they can also improve. Because anytime a child goes to the ECD, that child will do very well in future. And that's why ECD must be quality. The issue of recruitment, I believe I'm well exposed in recruitment. What's very important is that you should have a formula for recruitment. And that formula must be enshrined in terms of fairness and in terms of the quality of the products you want. The task force, the one chaired by Professor Iro, I'm lucky I also persuaded a lot in this task force because we could move around with them. We hear from various people, and it was a very good thing that it involved the residents of Kakamega, how they wanted to grow. I know the task force had gone beyond the mandate of the CC education, because remember they also talked about universities, considering those part of the information and the creation of more campuses within. I know the one in my village which hasn't started off, the site for Guri. It was part of that task force report. They also talked of the issue of scholarships, where since were being taken to China courses. But I was asking a question, did they come back? How are they back to Kakamega County? Because I expect those engineers, are all engineers, to be doing wonders on our roads here now. The leagues went for the training. I don't know if anyone will ever absorb that our county fund to be useful if they absorb around. So they pay back to the community and are supporting them. They also talked about the second schools with the issue of scholarships. No, the bursaries for the kids. When institutions were identified and financed to put up infrastructure. And I remember how this thing came out. Because I think I was attending one of the meetings. And in that meeting, people had come to bash principals for poor results. And I remember asking that committee if they'd ever been to Musingo High School. Because one Musingo to produce results and Musingo is in dire need of facilities. So that committee went to Musingo. I think that was the first project for the county. We did infrastructure in that school Musingo. That's for secondary schools. At that time, they also employing teachers to support, especially the small schools. But the these projects are not going on because they are missing on the priority area now, which are supporting ECDs. And very few ECD centers were located. And the core business of that department or that ministry wasn't being fed. And I know the feeling of the MCS. The MCS really want more to be done at the ECD than supporting infrastructure at secondary schools. But as I said, things are done through consultations, things are done through listening. If issues come up, we shall engage ourselves in the hearing, the listening, and consultation, and decision making, putting priority to the citizens, the good citizens of this country, Kakamega. Have I answered all the questions?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I believe there's when we get the questionnaire, it doesn't correspond to the ones that are collected at the assembly. You downloaded it?
No, I asked Dr. Coffee for it because of the Italian exams were on. We know some exams last week. But if there is missing, I can give you another one, I can think because I have all the information.
Yes, because we
the CP is not there.
It's not here.
It's not there. And the information is not going to be and whatever the election council did as a resident certificate, they told me the county government will require my CP, then they can write to make and make will give them information. So what the condition they were demanding before the process for me was for the copy. And this for Form 4 a copy. And this for Form 3 also a copy. Yeah.
Maybe we'll organize that so that you can get our stuff from Honorable Marcel Hussein. How's that question?
Thank you, Chair. I have so many questions, and I know because the nominees are teachers.
No, it's okay. Don't you have one question?
You have the kind of answers to all questions.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I have very few questions.
So, how do you intend to address the following issues when you're given this position? Number one is low enrollment in secondary school. Number two, limited special schools for people with disability. Three, lack of disability-friendly facilities in our schools. And lastly, bursary funds distribution among Kakamega County residents.
Yeah. I know the issue of the special schools fall outside the mandate of the CC education. But if the county assembly discuss and they think the department has to be involved, then obviously we should get first. But now, the disability schools are under the Ministry of Education, based in Nairobi. Still in the enrollment in secondary schools is still an issue of the national government, but I know the county assembly has come with legislation to improve on access through the provision of bursaries and scholarships. I want to believe if the bursaries will become more meaningful if there's more money allocated by the county assembly. If they allocate more money, then you can take care of more students. And if the process is handled correctly, then the money will reach the targeted persons and they will use it. I have already been there of bursary because my research paper was on bursaries.
You're done? Honorable Lucena, are you okay with the questions? Are your questions answered?
Yeah.
Your questions?
Yes.
Okay. Mwalimu, the conductor has a question for you, but before I give him the opportunity to ask his question, just a reminder on what Honorable Lucena has asked. He said yes, national secondary school is a national function, and CECM is for the board function. But talking about limited special schools, I think I could now ask you like this. Early childhood is devolved and is now under your locative given the opportunity. What measures are going to put in place to ensure that learners, as you rightly put, development, mental development of young learners starts at the early stage? What measures are you going to put in place to ensure enrollment of learners with special needs, or you are going to provide special ECD schools, or how are you going to improve on the existing infrastructure to enable learners with special needs. Now that it is under, it's going to be under your government. And it's a question that comes hand in hand with the lack of disability. Limited special school, we lack those schools. And two, the existing facilities are not disability friendly to learners, whereby you are going to find learners with special needs not going to ECD classes, and now they join the grade one or whatever, which means they have missed the gap between them. Then you respond, then Honorable Nakwa will ask a question.
Thank you, Vice Chair. It's true, the special needs kids should not be ignored from the lowest level. They also need to participate in that stage of development. One thing that has to be done was all infrastructure put up in the city centers must be compliant to the needs of the special learners. Each of the homes needs getting out the storage facilities that are provided. The entry the construction must take care of that facility. And two, I'll recommend that maybe the county government can also create special ECD centers, because there are very few the people having the special needs. If we have those few, then this ones here can be made body. Because I'm trying to imagine, we have like your place there of Chini, if you're one person with a disability or here, more. The next one is in my village, Guyana. And if you're going to employ one teacher to take care of that one, then until you take care of that one there, the cost must be high. But if you look at that disability student not to do with hearing, they will be put in one center, and that center is made a body, so that they're not disadvantaged. We have also not a physical challenge. Those are physical challenge they can learn anywhere, so long as we make the facilities accessible, they can learn anywhere. Actually, these days, the thinking is that we should do more of the integration learning, so the kids don't feel bad. I remember Go High School integrated with people with visual impairments, with the normal students, because of the hearing problems, and they will be taught together, and they felt very loud, and I think that's why all of them used to pass. So when you put them in isolation, sometimes it has many problems. It interferes with them. They feel as if they're not born well, yet they're just born well. They're just able, and they can succeed in life.
Chief Principal, maybe any political vision in the future?
Now,
Yes.
my vision is to transform education in school, in the county. As per the mandate, I won't come to politics. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Honorable. Honorable Maina has a question for you. Thank you, Honorable Maina. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to go back to a question that was raised earlier, concern about the utilization of these polytechnics. We also feel they are very important. I would stress, once you work on the recruitment where some areas we are buildings with our students, and I believe one of the areas to grow them is to bring in other trainings, like the already we talked about labor environment, and the trainings for the business people. And I think that farmers training in farmer is developed. We do want to make it a policy, and how would it resonate with our colleague in agriculture if we take this position? That we make it mandatory that we train for farmers who are taking the farm subsidy inputs, farmers who are taking the vertical initiative because the program run by the county. We make it compulsory that they go through a training process, and these trainings are done at the polytechnics. if there are signals to come to that such a legislation, I willing to support and then how do you think your colleague in the legislature will take it? Because now it is still their duty, but the training aspect now comes as a regular education issue that they be trained. People who come in to take sample grants, because they are part of bits of agriculture still, we make it mandatory that they go through a training at the polytechnics. So you create a curriculum to suit that. So the my question is what you're feeling about those issues, and two, do you think it will interfere with your colleague in agriculture? And three, which is final, are you able to come up with a curriculum to do that, to start those trainings for agriculture, the circles, and the traders who are maybe accessing loans from finance? That we make it mandatory, they have to go through one training, even be it a week or 2 weeks. If I can help with that, how soon can that be done?
After that training is very important. It's very, very important. You know, we talk about employment. To do what we're lacking is lack of information, lack of knowledge. Because it's getting troubles. Because, like America has found in the employment is if somebody is trained on BTP, you need to put hives. The bees can go to the neighbor's place and come back and give you the honey. And you have money, you get end of it. I see people will try to plant in maize, but you're doing just guesswork with our maize. You want to plant 10 acres and you want to put in input for 1 acre and you expect the produce. I'm like a group for the skips. I remember those days when we were young. Our parents used to go for these trainings. I remember those days we used to plant maize. We used to add fertilizer to me and those days, the level of productivity was very, very high. You check how we're working in our villages. We have never known the strength of cooperatives. And people are given small training, the small trainings, the cooperatives, even those farmers can do very well. Because we can just decide that within the packages, you can plant Sumongi and through cooperatives. You are supplying Sumongi, Kakamega, Mumias, Busia, Ngoma. Hii Sumongi zinatoka mbali sana. Kwani wakulima hapa hawawezi kuwa na that knowledge. The issue is lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge. And if you look at the curriculum of the polytechnics, the curriculum can address those issues. It's not just a matter of handling only the youth. Even the adults qualify also to get information from the polytechnics for the benefit of themselves, for the benefit of the community, and the benefit of the country. So I want to believe that through sharing with other stakeholders, because once you're a CC, you will be sharing with other CCs. There are those CC meetings, and you will be given proposals. And I'm sure someone can keep your argument. So that these meetings don't just look bad. You need to let those courses in parents at night taking the kids to those areas. Yeah. Because I know there are very many problems. That those problems are not being solved by giving knowledge to the people. Maybe we just start farming. I started tree farming